Greetings of the day to all my dear students. I hope that you all are good in your home. Today we shall start with a thought. Always remember you are studying for yourself and not for anybody else. When life puts you in tough situations, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Try me." So, this is Shraj Yadav welcoming you all to my e learning channel. And today we are going to learn English grade 9 to 12, writing section, essay writing. So, this is, we can say, a very known topic to you, essay writing. So, before starting with what to write, what is the weightage, marking pattern, which things you are supposed to keep in mind when you write, we shall first understand that what is basically essay writing. An essay is generally a piece of writing that gives the author's own argument. Essays have traditionally been subclassified as formal and informal. Essays are commonly used as literary criticism, political manifestos, which focuses on social themes, concern and narratives. So this is an essay is a piece of writing which showcases, we can say it executes the ideas what the author, means the person who is writing, wants to say through words. And it is traditionally classified in formal and informal way, but we will not go more deep in the formal and informal way. But in short, I would like to say that formal ones are usually based on the social themes and some criticism, topics related to politics and many more. And whereas in informal, which we can take into consideration when we are writing about any festival, when we are writing any about any seasons, we can have a view that this is the differentiation which we can clearly observe. So now let us move ahead and go through the marking pattern. So usually essay writing carries 7 marks, and essay is always an option to either article or application or story. Yes, but many students prefer to write essay because you have your independent no mindset, ideas, creativity which you want to put forward. So usually essay writing carries 7 marks, and the division of marks would be the content, which will carry 3 marks, the accuracy, which will carry 2 marks, the fluency, means how you are presenting the language, the vocab, you can say, your words which you have used, how you have placed everything. And so many students appear for the exams and they write down no essay. How can you impress the paper checker when they actually write down, yes, how your writing is different from others? So on an average this carries 7 marks, the content, accuracy, fluency. So these are the essay writing tips. Now when you have basically in exams, either you are given a topic to write, there are usually 2 topics given to you, some key points are highlighted, words and phrases are also put forward which helps you in framing the paragraphs. So the first step for essay writing tip is tip number 1, that is choose an interesting title. The second tip is design a detailed outline, means which points you are going to no carry, which you are going to write, have, means what points you want to cover up, write down the points, and then elaborate those points into paragraphs. The third one is come up with catchy introduction. It is always said the first impression is the last impression. So over here, your introduction should be very impactful so that it creates a very awe appearance, or it looks very good to read. The fourth one is develop your body paragraph. Into how many paragraphs you will be dividing it, decide it in prior. The fifth one is finish the essay with conclusion. It is always necessary that you should not leave the essay as it is. Okay? Don't leave it incomplete. Complete it with a good and effective conclusion. So over here we have points which we can keep in mind. Now over here I have presented 6 or 7 different types, that how basically you can start your opening, means how you can write it down, what should be the main content, how the conclusion is supposed to be written. Everything is been given over here. So the first one over here is the opening. See, now there are basically steps which you can follow. These are some of the examples which I have given, that if you want to start your essay, you can start your essay like this also. It is often said that, or many people claim that, or in this day and age, or nowadays, then you can also write like this. These days, it's a hotly debated topic that often divides opinion. Or you can also write like this. It goes without saying that, needless to say, the following essay takes a look at both sides of the argument. So you can see in the opening, the introductory paragraphs, how to start. You can easily frame and you can come to know that how the essay is going to go. The next one is introducing point. So you can put forward like this. Firstly, to start with, first of all, first and foremost, secondly, thirdly, lastly, finally, last but not the least, furthermore, in addition, what is more, on top of that. Another point worth noting is, another factor to consider is, you can write like this. The next one is presenting ideas and giving examples. So when it comes to, or according to an expert, or in terms of, or research has found that, you can also write like this, not only but also, as you are presenting ideas and giving examples and opinions, there are those who argue that with respect to, if you want to know, claim something, then you can. The next one is for instance, or for example, such as. These sort of words you can use. The next one is expressing result and reason. So you can add like this, as a result, or as a result dash and dash has led to, means whatever the topic is going on, if it is related to corruption, so as a result of corruption, so and so thing has led to. Then we have resulted in, we have consequently, therefore, on account of, due to, one reason behind this. We have contrasting, that is although, even though, despite of the fact, on one hand, on the other hand, however, nevertheless, even so. So now we have the opinion. If we want to say something, if we are in opinion of something positive or negative, then we can write like this. As far as I am concerned, from my point of view, in my opinion, My own view on the matter is. The next one is the concluding one. This is also very important. The way you start your essay, if that should be impactful, your ending should also be very impactful. So always try to end with these lines. These are very helpful. That is to sum up, in conclusion, all things considered, taking everything into consideration, weighing up both sides of the argument, on the whole, by and large, in general. So these are few tips which you can follow while writing down. So now this is the how the your essay eventually should be. It should be divided into 5 paragraphs. So the first one is your introduction, the second one is the main paragraph, the second para, then you have 3 main paragraphs, and the last one should be the conclusion. So now we shall have sample essay writing. So, before starting with the sample essay, I still want to tell you, we can say, no, the general essay writing tips sort of we have gone through, but still, that planning is important. To be honest, when I sometimes write the essay or whenever I have written it down and then did the planning, not always a good idea. Okay, that first I write everything and then I decide that whether it is good or not. Sometimes it works, but not actually always. It's really great that to write all of your cool ideas down before they slip out of your mind, but have a genre chosen in your mind what you want to write. This will remind you the purpose of your essay, how it is going to be something very exciting. How you want to write it, you want to write it in a creative way, you want to start the essay in a suspenseful manner, and then you want to exhibit everything. So be an honest writer. The best way to write is to be in touch with your feelings, to be vulnerable, and to show raw emotions which are very deep. Be confident no matter how terrible you are as a writer, and you will be better than you were years ago. Don't judge, don't just always write to get marks, write to entertain both yourself as well as the marker. So, now let us start with the sample essay writing. This is just an example which I am putting forward. The topic is COVID 19 impact on global education, school, colleges, and universities. So, looking into the current situation, I thought that this would be advisable to write an essay, because there is always that the paper checker always the paper satter actually they always put these sort of current affairs in writing down the essay. So the first one is introduction. That would be COVID 19, popularly known as the coronavirus, has impacted the lives of millions, or practically everyone on the face of the earth. The industries have been bracing themselves for adverse impact of the virus in the future. Countries have come to stand still, where a few argue that it might be a boon for environment and mother nature. Others are of the opinion that this will lead to a greater crisis than a Great Depression. So, in the introduction, I have given that basically what is COVID 19 popularly called as and how it has impacted millions of lives. Practically, what No, how the people are struggling. Everything in short has been mentioned in the first paragraph, that everything has come to stand still. Moreover to that, there are people's opinion that this might be a boon for the environment and the mother nature itself, but it would also lead to greater crisis and greater depression. So you can see over here, I'm not only focusing on the negative side of the thing, or not only just positive, but I am taking into consideration the both point of view, positive as well as negative. With PM Modi's speech due on 14th April at 10 am, India is thinking about the longevity of the lockdown that we are currently in. While some argue that the duration of the lockdown shall be extended, others are pleading to lift it from places with no sign of the virus. So these are some of the introductions which tells us the current scenario at that time duration. What was the situation in those days? What we need to understand is that lockdown or no lockdown, the decision of the government will be one that we would need to abide by, since corona is not about few holidays or time with family, but rather a global pandemic that needs to be controlled and then made extinct from the face of the earth for resuming a new normal human life. Schools and colleges have declared summer holidays for students all around the country due to this pandemic. The word says that schools won't reopen until at least June 10th. But now, if you can see the current situation, that still the online classes are going on. With such big academic decisions on the line, let's have a look on impact of COVID-19 has had on education. Impacts on education, schools and colleges, universities globally. So UNESCO released its figure on 23rd March 2020, stating that 1.3 billion learners around the world were unable to attend schools or universities on that particular day. The learners here refers to those enrolled pre-primary, primary, lower secondary, upper secondary and tertiary level, including the schools and colleges. Various entrances to go abroad and even for colleges in India have either been postponed, or if the results are out, the communication is delayed. Internship of many B schools are being revoked, with actual threats on final placement of the college. Institutions like HRD Ministry, AICTE, etc., have been approached to minimize the adverse impact on the students, but substantial information can only be gained once the pandemic comes to a halt. So over here we have given few of the figures. So you can always give, if you know the year, if you know the situation, if you know any organization's name, you can add those numerical data information, which would be very helpful. And then you are supposed to write down the current situation, that many universities and colleges and everything have stopped. While temporary school closures as a result of health and other crises are not new, unfortunately, the global scale and speed of the current educational disruption is unparalleled and, if prolonged, could threaten the right to education. Now, over here, we are presenting few opinions. That is, Education Minister of Italy stated that one of the worst hit countries announced the schools to stay closed until the further notice. In Washington state, where multiple cases of coronavirus have been reported, health officials have said there is no set protocol for school closures. Our priority is health and safety of our students, and we are taking extra steps to prevent and contain the disease. Seattle Public Schools said in a statement. China and Japan have also adhered to the shutdown policy adopted by the world. Now we are writing about the solution. In these testing times, the solution pertains more towards understanding and awareness of the problem. The following steps can be incorporated for better coping of the situation. Understanding the economic impact. The virus has forced many students to abstain from travel. While travel restrictions to and from China have been helpful in slowing down the spread of the disease, they have left also the international students strained. How long will this last? If the restrictions remain in place, the global higher education system would bear a brunt of an economic downturn. To understand, be aware, and cooperate in its downturn, it is the first step towards coping with the global pandemic. The most effective tool in keeping students' retention and maintaining the access to learning has been online courses. Stanford University has called off the remaining 2 weeks of in class lectures, urging its professors to move any remaining lessons online. The University of Washington announced a ban on campus classes until after spring break. After a member of staff was diagnosed with coronavirus last week, other universities have also taken a step. I have mentioned few of the names which I was aware about, and that is including the New York's Hofstra University, New Jersey's Princeton University, Seattle University, and are starting to move to virtual classes. Many IIMs, IITs, MBA colleges, and even schools in India have made online classes compulsory during the testing times. With online learning the way to go, universities should also ensure students and staff are protected while on campus. While COVID 19 is a high risk for those over 60, traditional aged university students face relatively low risk from the disease. However, in recent weeks, we have seen just how quickly the novel coronavirus can spread in areas with high concentration of people, and university campus are no more exception. Administrators should undertake simple measures to prevent the spread of the disease in their campuses. This should include instructing students on appropriate protocols for washing hands, covering sneezes and coughs with their elbows, and self isolating if they are experiencing flu or cold like symptoms. Educators should also be aware of the students who have traveled extensively during the spring break and remind those who have been abroad in heavily affected places to be mindful in returning to their campus. So this is just, I have given you a sample that you can carry all these thing. The first one was introduction, the second one was the main body content, that how it is reacting. Then we have seen that how it has affected the schools as well as universities, colleges at global level. Which other universities have taken a special steps related to it? We have mentioned that. What WHO have stated, we have mentioned that. Which things we are supposed to keep in mind, which could be beneficial to the students as well as for the teachers, the management. We have also mentioned that how economically it would be taken aback. So, I hope that every one of you have understood the essence of what basically is essay writing. So, I hope that you all have understood it. Thank you for watching and have a nice day, everyone. And if you still find any doubt or queries, you can comment down in the comment section below. Thank you.